everybody, and welcome to this, our second episode of Diesel Punks here on Encounter Roleplay. I am your host and your master of ceremonies and your, I suppose, at this point, keeper of the apocalypse, Savvy. And we're here to play Apocalypse World. Thanks for joining us and for hanging out, everybody. If you're here with us live on Twitch, we're so excited to have you. If you are not, if you are from watching this from the future on YouTube, we're also really excited to have you. So if you're watching us there, you can watch all our past episodes and also leave comments about your favorite show moments. We love that. Before we get started, I'm going to run through really quick. We have some wonderful sponsors this season that I would be remiss not to mention. We have Mage Hand Press. I was currently running a Kickstarter, a very successful currently Kickstarter for their Dark Matter starter kit. You can see an adventure from that kit, it's called Conspiracy in the Stars, on the channel on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. The starter kit, I've been told, is now over 500% funded. And that's wild and awesome. So keep doing that. They're adding a huge like mecha book to it. It's going to be really cool. So check them out. We have Helmgast. They're a modern horror tabletop role-playing game, Cult Divinity Lost. We have an adventure from them as well, exploring Japan, Wednesdays at 6 p.m. here on the channel, so come back for that. Lots of excellent things happening on Wednesdays and every day, obviously. We have Modifius. They create and publish and distribute a huge range of RPGs. You got your Star Trek adventures, you got your Tales from the Loop, you got your Dishonored, all those really awesome. And you can see their Star Trek game here on the channel as well, Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And then finally, World Anvil, where you, the audience, can find additional information on a number of the shows that are featured on the channel this season. It's great for writers and world builders and GMs and players, and then people who just want to know more. It's really great. So check all of those out. We love them. Thank you for your support. A couple of fun things that are going on around these parts in the next couple of weeks. On Sunday, August 16th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, there is going to be a one-shot here on the channel of Axon Punk. It's a hip-hop inspired cyberpunk game, and they also have a Kickstarter going for that as well. Check that out. I'll remind you again at the end. Put it on your calendars. And then EncounterCon. I want to remind everybody of the community weekend. That's going to be August 29th and 30th. We're going to be playing a ton of games, both streamed and non-streamed. The information for that is in the Discord, which you can join. And you can sign up for games there. And then one more reminder, my favorite reminder probably, is Clip of the Week. We're doing clips of the week. Please, please, please clip moments of the show, all of the shows on the channel, but especially here today, since we're with you right now, clip moments of the show that you enjoy, because every week we're going to pick a clip of the week to highlight. And this week, it could be yours. It's really fun. And also just send them to me, because I love sitting around watching clips that you guys make. We love them. All right, and then finally, you can influence our game here today. We've got our live tweet that is out currently. Once we hit 20 retweets on that, one of your lovely players here will get a boon in the form of an auto success. Once we hit 30, I'll give them an auto fail, because it's fun. And then at 40, we'll get back to an auto success, and it'll just cycle through until the end of the show. It's gonna be awesome. You can also influence a show in other ways. If you donate to the channel, there's a ton of stuff you can get. Last week they got a pet, which in the moment was very stressful for me because I had to go, oh no, what would an apocalypse pet be? But lots of things: auto successes, auto fails, pets, different things like that. And then once we hit our sub goal at every 5 subscriptions, we'll get a surge of the psychic maelstrom, and the poisons will whisper to somebody. All right, that's enough of me talking at you. That's the important stuff. I'm going to let these fine people around me introduce themselves, tell you who they are and where you can find them, and then who they're playing today. We'll start with Rob and go around. Rob, who are you?
Heck if I know. They tell me I'm Rob, or bonus stage Rob, or bonus_stage_Rob. You can find me at any one of those handles on the internet, either at twitch.tv/bonus_stage_Rob, or playing RPG games with my friends, like here, where I'm playing Liv, the Heart Holder. If you like a woman who's built like Zarya from Overwatch with the personality of Negan from The Walking Dead, then here I am, ladies or gents, anybody. Take this away from me.
Marlo, who are you?
I am also told I am Marlo. Not totally assured of that fact, but I'm rolling with it. You can find me on Twitter at Marlo Bogwitch. It's above. And I'm doing lots of stuff. I'm on some weekly streams doing lots of different things. I am here playing Sedona, who is a little bit, different type of person. She's a cult leader, so that goes. And, just working through it in my little southern preacher charm.
And it rules. Lydia, who are you?
And I'm muted, apparently. That's who I am. I'm Lydia. I'm a professional. I live here. And I am playing the sweetest of brainers who likes lots of things and lots of people, and now is very happy about her pet spider. And nothing bad could ever happen from that. Yes? No?
No, of course not. Why would
One fear.
anything bad ever happen in the apocalypse? GB, tell us who you are.
Graybeard of Graybeard's Tavern, and today I'll be playing Moriai. A playbook is called The Faceless, and he wears a ceramic face of his dead mother. So,
Yeah.
that's a good
like a
time.
normal person.
Like a normal person. So keep an eye out.
We will, for sure. All right. Excellent. And you know me, I'm Savvy at Savvy Seaworth, and I am here to run this game today. Let us get to it. So let's do our beginning of session stuff, everybody. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to spend either 1 or 2 barter to continue your lifestyle. So make sure you go ahead and mark that off your sheet. 1 barter to sort of live a regular hold life. 2 to live a nice one and to have nicer things. That's up to you.
We're bartering with Kitchen Bratlin in chat, helping us with a little bit of a great haggle and 2 crits for me and for my suite for the Faceless Man, Graybeard. Thanks for that.
Thank you. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. All right. Let's go ahead and spend that. And then let us highlight your stats. Let's start with... whose sheet do I have up first? Moriai. Who has the highest history on your sheet?
And that would still be Liv. For we did a terrible thing. or they enabled me to do a terrible thing.
All right, so Liv, you can highlight one of Moriai's stats, and I will do the same.
I'm gonna say herd.
Hurrah! Thank you, thank you.
I'm gonna say cool.
All right.
All right. Who's next? Let's Mercury. Who has the highest history on your sheet?
Still nothing changed. Still Rob, Liv.
Okay. You'll pick one and I'll pick one.
I'm gonna say weird.
Thank you.
I'm gonna say sharp
Yes, me.
for you. All right. Sedona. Who has the highest history
So
on your sheet?
I actually leveled up with Moriai. So my highest is split between Lydia and Liv.
Okay, well then each of you will pick one. Have Mercury and Liv each highlight one of Sedona's stats.
I'm going to go with cool because I think she's really cool.
Appropriately, I'm going to go with weird because I think she's hella weird.
Very nice. All right, those
Look,
are
that's rough.
yours
Think
for the
she's
week.
chill.
And Liv. Who has the highest history on your sheet?
That would be Mercury.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with hard because I think you're liking to protect us, and you should be good at that.
I'm gonna go with hot for you this week. All right, done. Easy peasy. The only other thing we have at the beginning of the session is your hard holder has a roll to make for the state
That I do.
of the hold. So let's do it. Okay, so we've got a partial success. So this is you have a want, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so think about it. Let me know what your people want this week.
Okay. Does the want from last week go away, or do they stack?
Yes, no, it will change to this one.
Okay, got it.
So you'll only have one.
Cool.
All right. You decide that, and we will go ahead and get started. That's fun music, yeah. So last time on Diesel Punks, this squad right in front of you got together for their very first job that the four of them were doing. They did a salvage run on an old radio station a few miles north of their hold, the assembly line. On the way, they encountered a small chopper gang led by a raider named Silver, who was very quickly dispatched, head removed from his body, motorcycle destroyed, and they were handled. And the caravan carried on. Upon arriving at the radio station WVMX radio, the gang split up to explore Moriai and Mercury, finding some salvage and their new spider friend, Spider Jeremy, on the first floor. And Liv and Sedona finding a mostly intact studio and some less friendly bugs on the second floor. Those creatures were, after spitting a lot of acid on a lot of people, were dispatched. They were stomped on and run off, and the crew took what they could, headed back to the assembly line, hoping to send out more men to claim the radio station for their own. However, they'd only been back to the hold for a few hours when a messenger from another hold, a strange-looking man named Hollow, was caught coming through the gates in an attempt to speak to Liv about the salvage they had acquired and muttering something about prosperity. Tesla and Sig sent him away, But Liv expressed some concerns about how another hold miles away would have heard news of their mission already. So that's where we're going to pick up. Very briefly, I want to ask you all, because that was sort of at the end of your day, is there anything any of you wanted to get up to that evening before you go to sleep? Other than we had some help sort of unloading what was salvaged from the truck. Liv, you were getting ready to dispatch some people out to the radio station to hold it for you. Is there anything else anybody wants to get up to?
I want to show Spider Jeremy where he lives now and try and teach him some tricks. Which is mainly don't eat people. Don't spit acid at people unless they deserve it. But, you know, they're not so used to you here because you're big and you glow and you spit acid. That is usually frowned upon in people's society, I've learned. So don't do that and stay in our shack and in our backyard. And you can play with your friend. His friend is, of course, Silver, the severed head from the motorcycle gang, which I will roll to Spider Jeremy and try and teach him to play by rolling it back because he's still in the helmet. I'm going to have some fun with my new bestest friend, Spider Buddy.
That's wonderful. Do I want to have you roll for training him to do tricks? Probably, that would be fun. Just go ahead and roll. What's the manipulate move? Just go ahead and roll plus hot for me. I think you can train him over time, but
I don't have anything forwarded. Oh, wait. No, it wasn't. Succeeds partially.
okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, it's so the move is essentially on a partial success. They'll go along with you, but they need concrete assurance or corroboration. So I think you realize that if you're going to train him to do these tricks, he's very smart. He can definitely do it, but it's going to take a lot of treats.
A lot of treats. I will bring a lot of treats, and I will try and bring treats that he likes and find out in the first day what he likes best. So I think we figured out the dried meat is a good start. So there's at some point a variety of food in front of him, from vegetables to more meat to some rotten meat to just some metal bits, you know, you never know. But and try and see what he responds to best. And Moria, you'd probably be quite unsurprised, but everyone else would be just weirdly confused and fascinated by just how seriously she takes this. Because she's that weirdo that's running around following butterflies. She's that weirdo that's just standing looking at a scratch or a paint flecks on a building and just stares at it for 10 minutes, smiling to herself. And this is just pure determination.
Can we say that like their shack has all the weird stuff from like the before times, like a sad looking flamingo that, you know, is stuck in the dirt basically, but it's like bent at a weird angle, and like maybe some like political signs, vote for blah 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 in, you know, 2020 or something, you know, that's there and kind of janked over by the wind, that sort of thing. Would that be viable? Is that our shack?
A potpourri of bullshit. Cool? I love it.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah. So, and I guess to juxtapose with that, out back there's like just Moriai in, you know, the silhouette winging this massive two-handed sword around, you know, in doing different katas or whatever. The Joneses.
I love it. I love it. Anything else anybody wants to get up to? Sedona or Liv?
I think Sedona probably just does basics like meets with people. She meets personally with everybody at least some point during the week that follows her. So she would do that type of thing and like take her tithes, because people need to tithe to her. I mean, it would be expected. And, just hangs out, does her thing, sermons, a little bit in the evening. You got to have your evening mass, so that's it.
Awesome. And
Liv would definitely. Oh, sorry. Liv was definitely be up early in the morning, but the night before she's chill.
Chilling. All right.
Yep.
So the four of you eventually, because you've had a long, mostly successful, I would say, day, you head off to your respective places to get some sleep. Liv, you get up very early the next morning. Is there anything specific you do in the mornings?
Yeah, so usually she's just kind of leisurely doing her morning rounds, just making sure everything looks shipshape. She's a lot more on edge this morning, just based off of Hollow showing up at the gates and talking about weird shit like that. She's gonna go to the gate that he was at and just ensure that it was, guarded all night, any news, whatever. She's gonna be like one of those like drill sergeants that always tries to find something wrong. And if there's nothing wrong, she will make something wrong and be like, that's not secure enough, this is why, etc., some arbitrary thing. And I don't know, did anything else happen overnight? That's definitely how she would lead.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have more than one gate, or is it just the one?
She would go there first, but I picture it as that's like the north gate that I believe was on the side that we had gone out to go to the radio station. But there is a southern gate as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. So you make your way over to that north gate. Sig is there currently, kind of overseeing everything that's going on. He let you know sort of the big guns. He and Tesla had sort of switched off throughout the night, so one of them was always there. But he didn't see anything as far as they know. Nobody returned. Nothing weird happened. It was a pretty quiet night.
Okay. All right. She'd probably go up to some like young kid and just be like, I'm gonna call him Kevin.
Okay.
Kevin, give me your gun. And it's yeah, she just, as soon as it, like, she snatches it as soon as it's in her face, and she turns, shoots like a scarecrow or something. Does the gun fire?
Yes.
Okay, so she shoots a scarecrow, gives it back to Kevin. Make sure you keep that clean.
He just like nod, this terrified look on his face.
The armory's for shit, and if there are freaks going on around here, coming out our gates and I don't know, selling their bullshit and telling us where we've been, we gotta do better with defense. And she, on that note, kind of turns on her heel and heads toward the armory.
Okay. Head over to check in on the armory. Before you can get over there, however, you hear something, and the rest of you hear this as well. You are sort of shaken out of your sleep or of your path that you are walking on by the sounds of shouting coming from that south gate and a couple of gunshots.
Oh, god damn it. And she'll just immediately take the rifle off of her back and just walk down there. Probably grab
Mari,
a
do you
couple,
wanna
like,
kill things?
farmhands.
Yeah, you just see, we see like from here down on Moriai in the bed, and he just bolt upright, and we're just seeing like that much, and then the mask comes over and just on the face. Yes, dear. And he rises.
Let's go. And she was just washing some dishes, and it's very domestic. You want to kill things? Okay, let's go. And then they skip off together. You stay.
I think
That's
Sedona.
adorable.
I think
Stay.
Sedona wakes up to this and just is like, well, the people are gonna need me. And gets up and heads over there. This is just how, like, she is. She thinks, I'm gonna get some new converts or something.
I love that. All right, so the four of you, from your different corners of the hold, head over toward the southern gate. Liv, you get there first because you are already sort of out and about. Excuse me. And you see, sort of as you get over to the gate, sort of up high on these little, these sort of top of the fence, there's stairs leading up, so a couple of your guards can sort of see over. There are two of your guards, sort of one on each side, that have guns trained down on something at the other, on the other side of the gate.
What do we got?
You hear one of them sort of call down from the top. Some weirdo in a suit. In a car.
And she turns around, and I imagine that this is about when the rest of the group catches up. She just goes right up to Sedona, says, I don't know how your poison talk works, but have you been getting any like weird airwaves? Like, have you been, I don't know, talking about what happened yesterday?
The gods have been silent.
All right. What about you, Mercury?
Well, there was a butterfly who was flying in a really weird way, and I thought it spelled something, but then it spelled a nasty word, and no, I don't think that was a sign from the poisons. But I can look into his brain if you want me to. The guy in the suit, not the butterfly. Too small.
Yeah, can you do that without getting up close to him, or
No,
do
I'd
you do
have
it
to
here, or
touch
do we
him.
need to get you out there? All right.
I'd have to touch him. Or he'd have to touch me.
Yeah.
Or we can touch each other. I can punch him in the face, that might work. But I think that's rude.
Yeah, well, it might warrant it, but all right. Let's see what they got. And Liv will just start climbing up to the vantage point so she can see what's happening.
Okay. Yeah, you climb up to the top next to one of your guards, and you see the same man that you saw yesterday. This sort of very tall, very slim, almost like too slim, like sunken in face, in a very nice dark pinstriped suit, standing down there in front of a car. He's sort of got his hands raised because there are guns being pointed at him, and behind him is this a bit dusty from sort of driving across the waste, but a long, like souped up powder blue Camaro. It is pretty pristine. It's if there was any rust on it at any point, it has been gotten rid of. Sticking out from all of the wheels in the front of the car are these large, like silver spikes. And the windows are tinted very darkly, so you can't see who's inside.
I do want to try and read him from a distance, just as in general read. I can't do the deep brain scan, obviously, but I can try and see what this fucker is all about.
Okay, yeah, you can roll to read a person. So that will be plus sharp for you.
For me, it's plus weird due to the casual brain receptivity.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's really high. Okay, yeah, that's 13, so that's a full success. So you can ask 3 questions.
And I'm just going to find the questions real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Read. Where is it? Read a person. Well, if I can do it for the whole sort of conversation that is about to be had, I want to see if he's telling the truth.
Okay.
And what his intentions are. What is he intending to do?
All right, so I will keep those in mind. And if there's something that you want to ask that's not like verbatim on the list that comes up during the conversation, you can spend that last hold to do that
I'm
as well.
holding
I'm
the last one, yeah.
flexible with the questions. So, all right, so yeah, you sort of climb up as well and kind of peek over, looking down at him. Moriai and Sedona, where are you going?
I think I'm gonna follow Liv up to the top.
Okay.
Like I'm so important, and just be like standing there, like regarding him in the same way.
Love that.
Mercury, do you when you reach out like that, do you kind of go blank, or what do you physically do when you reach out with your mind? Is there any difference at all?
In this case, mechanically no, but I do think you'll get a sensation because you know how she works at this point, and you get a sensation when the tattoos are a little bit shimmering, when it's almost like they're flowing. It's almost like there's a marbled effect within, and she just focuses really hard. And from her usual smile, from her usual happy-go-lucky attitude, there's that focus again that is not normal, except for, well, Jeremy and you, and now in these sort of situations.
All right, and then so Moriai looks over and sees the bit of shimmer and glow, and since she's not in the line of fire, he'll like take like 3-4 strides and like grab the ladder and kind of fling himself and grab another piece, and like instead of like climbing up like a normal person, he kind of like parkours his way up to the top of the wall, and then just like boom, bumps against the edge of the wall and looks down, and then sighs because it's not like motorcycle raiders or some kind of wave of spiders or whatever. So yeah, from under the mask, it's just a and then he just stands there and waits.
Okay, so you've all sort of made your way up to the top, and you see this man in this car down below. Liv, you recognize him from yesterday, just sort of standing there looking up very casually for a man who has just been shot at.
Well, we already got a preacher in town, and, well, the car's nice, a little bit flashy for my tastes. So, 2 days in a row, what are you selling? Hollow, was it?
He nods and calls up to you in just this very sort of calm voice. I told your people yesterday. Prosperity wants to talk to you.
Does Prosperity have name, or is it actually Prosperity? Like, are we dealing with some nutter that had, like, hippy-dippy parents, or... I don't know. Is that Prosperity, pointing to who's next to them?
He sort of looks back toward the car, and then looks back at you and just nods.
All right, well. And, I'm listening.
He kind of sighs, walks around, and pulls open the passenger side door of the car, and a woman steps out, again in these like pristine clothes. She has this long like jet black hair sort of piled up on top of her head in this like fancy updo. She's wearing a red dress, like a knee-length dress, cinched at the waist with a black leather belt with a pistol hanging off of it, and a string of pearls around her neck that sort of glint in the sun, and then these black like short leather boots and gloves as well that match her belt. And she just sort of very carefully gets out of the car, walks to the front of it, and just looks up at you. Now, is this how you receive all your visitors?
No, just the weird cryptic types that are, I don't know, showing up in the middle of the night. It's not really a good time to be receiving guests.
You'll have to excuse Hollow. He takes directions a bit literally sometimes.
Fair enough. So, Prosperity, I take it.
That me? Live, right?
That's me.
So, are you gonna let me in, or are you just gonna make me shout at you over the gate?
Got anybody else in that car there?
Just the driver, but he's gonna stay in there.
Come on in then. And she'll hop down and be at the gate when it opens.
All right, she smiles and sort of motions to Hollow, and as they open the gate, she just walks right in as if she owns the place, and looks around at you, and then kind of up to the other three of you in the back at you live, and says, "So, are you amicable to doing business? Shall we go to your office?"
Sure. Always looking to do some business, especially with somebody named Prosperity. Hopefully, it's what the two of us can find together.
It's worked out well for my friends in the past.
Yeah, well, we'll see if we're friendship material.
Can I spend that held one on that particular statement? As in, if you're out for flavor, it's worked out well for my friends in the past. Do I see faces of her friends in the past suddenly dead somewhere in a ditch, or prosperous faces that I
It's
do
not worked out
recognize?
well for her friends in the past.
Right, so Mercury jumps down as well, and sort of tucks Liv on her sleeve, or on her shirt sleeve.
One moment, please. And she'll how tall is Mercury? I don't remember if this was established.
She's fairly slender and short. I
Okay,
don't really
so
play tall characters. It pains me to say this.
Yeah.
But yeah.
she'll crouch down to your level and just be like,
Liv, I'm coming with you. I'm going to read her brain. And I don't think I'm going to like what I'll find.
Liv will be very careful not to break her very over the top, almost chastising smile to Mercury. But will do her best to convey with her eyes, like understanding what she's saying. And whatever you want, sweetie. You'll have to excuse her. We got a couple weirdos kicking around here. She's harmless.
I have a spider. Where are you?
And when Liv says about the weirdos around here, they then realize that 6'4" Moriai is standing right behind Mercury. Like, what's going on? You know.
Yeah, and I think Sedona has walked up too. and like isn't saying anything but is staring at Prosperity.
She just kind of looks around at all of you and then back to Mercury. I'm Prosperity.
That is a concept,
We know.
not a name. But I'm okay with it.
I mean,
Let's
anything
go.
can be a name if you really think about it, I guess.
Mercury is wandering off towards Liv's office.
And you all notice, I think, I guess if Mercury starts to wander off, but those of you that are sort of standing around, you can see Hollow just like staring at Mercury, like not looking at anyone else, just like staring. So, lead the way.
Of course. And yeah, she'll lead the group over to her office. And I guess head right up there. I imagine that, I guess if Sig is still at the gate, Tesla is probably somewhere in my admin area. And she'd probably just have Tesla at the door with another one of the more trusted guards, like probably another higher up, whose name escapes me right now because improv.
That's okay. Names are hard. Well, it'll come to us
It'll come to me.
when the time is right. All right, so you lead everybody back to your office, Liv, with Prosperity and Hollow sort of following close behind. You go in, shut the door, and Prosperity sort of
Mercury
stands.
will be there. Mercury
all of
was
you going in?
possibly just already gone ahead.
Okay.
And as we're
This is
crossing
not a
that,
request.
as we're crossing that space, Moriai just like leans over to Mercury and says, "I was hoping she'd be a gorilla with tentacles. Prosperity, that is."
She might still be.
And he nods like, "Yeah."
Think about it. If gorillas don't have tentacles and don't look like gorillas, they are much more dangerous. Because you don't know they're
Totally
gorillas with
accepting that
tentacles.
idea. And
Okay.
yeah, he's just totally on board for that.
That's a wonderful idea. Now we have to have a gorilla with tentacles. All right. So you all, I assume, go in, and Prosperity sort of looks around at all of you. Oh, quite the welcoming committee.
Yeah, well, they are my constituents. You know, the place like this, I'm a pretty great frickin' leader, but a place like this isn't run by one woman, surprisingly. So, you know, you've got the when you've got talks of doing business together, you gotta have the people that make this place tick. Weird as some of them might be.
Oh, trust me. And she kind of glances at Hollow and looks back at you. I understand.
Mm-hmm. So what's
So-
his deal then? He's your Angel Gabriel? Or whoever came before the end times? I don't know. Bible got pretty boring about till the whole Revelation thing.
Never read it. He's a close friend.
All right. So you send your close friends out to do your errands for you then?
I send people I trust to deliver important messages for me.
All right. Well, then we've both got our trusted people here, ready to talk turkey. So, enlighten me.
All right. You all went on a very, one might say, lucrative little jaunt yesterday. Also, I heard about silver.
And I would like to know, you've been keeping tabs on the assembly line, or is this just a really great fucking guess?
Oh, I don't need to keep tabs on anybody. We have our ways of finding out what's important around us.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. What's it to you?
What's it to me is this. You found a radio station. Yes?
I don't know. You tell me, Miss Tab Keeper. Sounds like you got all the fucking tabs in the wastes.
I want you to give it to me.
Well, it was ripe for the taking. Sounds like anybody could have just walked in and take it. Unless you're the type that has some poor schmuck like this hollow fuck over here do all the dirty work for you, like us hardworking folk in the assembly line, only to roll up in their, frankly, extremely tacky and looks like it's held together with string vehicle, and then try to muscle it away from us.
Now,
that what's
I am
happening right now?
offended. My people take very good care of that car.
Mm. All right. Well, what exactly are you offering for this radio station? Or are you just expecting the muscling to work?
You interpret a lot of things as muscling, Liv. I'm sure there are some things that your assembly line are want for. I'll gladly provide them. And the station becomes mine. We've got a lot of resources over at Pinnacle. I'm sure a leader like you could make use of them. Food, tech, tacky cars. But if you're not interested, even with your men there, the station is still ripe for somebody to walk in and take it.
This is all very cute and exactly what a woman wants to wake up to first thing in the morning. But let me tell you a little bit something about my men and the assembly line. You want to talk about interpreting a lot of things as muscling. Tell you what, Toots. We are the muscle. So, if anybody's going to do the muscling around here, it's us. And that's exactly what we did when my friend here decapitated Silver. Now, it's not their first decapitation. Certainly won't be their last. So, if somebody were to try to pick the beautiful, succulent fruit that is WVMX from us, you can expect somebody else will probably meet their blade. You dig?
Fine. We can do this the hard way. But if your people suffer for it, that's on your hands, not mine, sweet cheeks.
Are we done here?
Well, it's your office, so I suppose so. Come on, Hollow, we're going home. And she turns and starts to head towards the door.
Yeah. I will open the door for her and brush against her on the way out accidentally, because I only need touch for the deep brain scan to work, and I'm going to use one of my crits. Thank you, chat.
Okay. Let's get a deep brain scan in here. What happens on a 10 plus? You're gonna treat
On
that
a
as if you rolled a
10
12.
Plus, hold 3 while you're reading, and I can ask several questions. 3 at this point.
Okay.
What are these characters' secret pains? In what way are these characters' mind and soul vulnerable? And what was their lowest moment?
Okay. Let's see. Secret pains. Prosperity. What are your secret pains? You brush up against her, and I think you start to get in your mind these kind of like flashes of images cycling through, and you see Prosperity, a younger, more ragged looking, dirtier in general. Prosperity, sort of this long black hair kind of hanging around her, clothes that are sort of torn, covered in dirt. She looks like she's about 13, sort of gun slung across her back, and you see her just running sort of across the wasteland. She runs and runs and runs until almost a point to where she can't run anymore, and you see her sort of stumble and fall. And then she looks up, and you kind of see through her eyes something above her kind of sparkling in the sun. And there is this tall, probably 20 stories high building with a few yards in front of her, with a sign on it that just says Pinnacle. I'm going to keep that as her lowest moment. You see her sort of get up and walk to the busted front doors of this hotel and pull on them, kind of pull them open, and walk in, sort of shelter herself and just sit down and start to cry. And then you start to get flashes of these other images. If you're like moving very quickly forwards in time, you see her by herself, and then sort of gathering in more and more people, starting to clean up this hotel and expand it out and build it out. And then you see sort of out front, there is sort of these moments, I think, that you get some feeling from her as well when she's standing outside, sort of watching people till up the earth, kind of again and again, just trying to grow anything. And this like frustration of it not working, and looking around in this like fear that her people are hungry. Yeah. I think that's the highlights.
And the mind and soul vulnerable, is that within that as well? I'm assuming it's the people that she wants to...
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think you feel this like inner conflict in her as you were like sort of seeing these images like cycle through, of this like frustration of not being able to sort of give these people everything they need, but also this sort of like drive that's like, greed's not quite the right word, but this kind of like selfish like greed. As you kind of see her, like very briefly, you see this flashback of her sort of walking into this huge suite in this hotel, sort of surrounded by all of these shiny things.
As she leaves the door, I grab her hand real quick. The touch of the scan. Is that the brushing against her and the grabbing of the hand, and then just whisper, I know you.
She stops and sort of turns back toward you and just doesn't look overly concerned, just kind of raises an eyebrow. And look, she's definitely taller than you, and just sort of looks down at you. I'm sure you do, sweetie. Can I go?
You know the vodka in the mini bar is $2.50, right?
She kind of smirks at that. Not when you own the hotel. And she goes to walk out the door. Hollow trailing behind. Okay, so she leaves you there. The four of you now stand in Liv's office. What would you like to do?
Well, she's a real ray of fucking sunshine first thing in the morning. What's Pinnacle?
I haven't even.
It's a hotel.
So I don't
It's
know
a
what were you
hotel.
saying?
It's her hold. Her assembly line.
Well, how could she come in here thinking she can strong arm us? How many people does she have if she thinks she can do that?
Should have just cut off the head of that viper here.
Not quite. What I was saying about the decapitation is absolutely true. I want you to do that again. It was freaking awesome. But we need to think before we decapitate. I'll work on a rhyme later. What possible...
Contemplate before decapitate?
That is very good. I like
You
that.
should put that outside on the sign. That's a good motto.
I love it. We'll get right on that. But
Shit.
what does Pinnacle need with some radio station? I mean, what are they selling? What kind of a place is this old hotel? I can't imagine
She
they've got
wants-
much more than us.
Oh, she wants more, always more. Prosperity. It's a concept, not a name. It's a goal.
Yeah.
It's a drive.
Yeah.
It's a need. You live, she prospers.
No, it's short for Olivia, but I see where you're going. Yes. So she's pretentious and she's greedy and she's always gotten what she wants and never told no. Well, I've got a 2-letter word for her, and I can say it in about 10 different languages. Fucking no. We found that
It's more
place.
than
We
2
killed the
languages.
guy. Well, the fucking was for emphasis. It's a sentence enhancer. Yeah.
Mercury will sit down on your desk. Kind of always a little bit weird when she comes back from a brain, as you could just see, and just sits and stares into the distance for a while. Still kind of coming to terms with what's reality and what's memory, and what is her memory and what is theirs.
Now we got to figure out what the tactical move is here. Do we strike first, or do we just buckle up our defenses? I mean, are you able to... and she'll look at Mercury, see that she's sort of zoning, and then look at Moriai. Just... She all right? Should I give her a second?
She'll come back.
She's dipped into something deep. You give her some time.
All right, fair enough. But I want to know numbers. I want to know location. I want to know where we can hit these people, where it shows that the line ain't to be crossed.
we could send some people ahead. We could get to scout the place, but seems like she might have eyes everywhere. She might see him coming.
Yeah, so she's got a couple people floating around in the waste. I wouldn't be surprised if Silver's ragtag group of assholes were her informants. I mean, 2 of them did pussy out, so...
They wanted to convert. I could have converted them.
Well, maybe we do a little bit of converting and kill the rest. I mean, maybe this is where your religious zealot bullshit comes in, no offense, comes in handy.
That's a tactic. I don't mind going in. The gods will protect me. I cannot say the same for all your men.
All right, well, first things first, we got to at least batten down the hatches with the radio and the station, rather, and our gates here. I didn't want to play my hand too hard there, but the as may have been evidenced by the fact that my gun didn't gun yesterday, the armory is a little bit shitty right now.
Mercury on the table sits up. My spider. Thank you, spider. Mecha spider, for the crypt to live. And then goes back into his.
All right. We need guns. I mean, if this prosperity and her pinnacle of whatever is looking for a fight, then I don't want to assume that her people are all as hoity-toity and flighty and can't handle themselves as much as she seems to be.
Her people are hungry. There's more, always more, and they want always more. They eat
Are we
her.
talking literal hunger?
Yeah.
Like they're low on food?
They were, or are, or will be. It's sometimes a little bit hard to discern.
Fair enough. We can use that. But we do need guns. I mean, were you able to tell if they needed more of those, or are you still a little...
I don't think I got any of that today. Guns? No.
Nope. Just
Why guns? Are guns important?
Guns typically are important if you want to live or don't. You know, I'm not particular, but in our case, guns are very important. So if they have more of them, then we don't live as much.
Yeah, but guns don't feel. So I don't feel guns.
Fair enough.
I think their purpose is to make other people feel, sweetie.
That's okay, but they don't have a brain, I can see.
No.
You have to count them when you see them with your eyes. And her eye is sort of twitching to the right-hand side a little bit and back.
Okay, well, that's good enough for me. You take it easy, kid. You earned your scraps, no problem, but we might have to do a run. Right now, the hold is really wanting for guns right now. If they
I don't know if
come
she has
knocking,
them.
we're not going to be able to hurt them. You don't know that she has them?
I don't know what she has. I told you.
Oh, sorry.
I only know what
Sorry.
she feels. But I know
Okay, all right.
she's killed people before, maybe with guns. This is not a partnership. But you know that.
Yeah. Nobody comes in swinging their lady dick around like that if they're looking to be friends. Take it from me.
I don't know much about your lady dick.
I'll tell you when you're older, kid. And she's
I think she's I think she's being figurative here, sweetie. Look, I have the men. Anyone you need from my group, you know you have. If we need to do a run, we're behind you.
appreciate that. We got to beef up the station because obviously that's the golden goose. And I feel like that's going to be target number 1 if they come knocking. And then maybe after we drop off some reinforcements, maybe we go look to arm the rest of us with something. Hopefully keep an eye out for some scouts. I mean, if she's got assholes floating around in the wastes, keeping an eye on us, maybe we capture one of them and they tell us what they know.
Hey, that's not a bad idea.
I know, it came out of my mouth. I'm full of them. I'm full of great ideas.
Never said you weren't, but it is truly, I think, the direction we should go. If we can figure out a little bit more about this settlement, Mercury, your knowledge has been incredibly useful. But if we had some information on guns, men, how many, what defenses they have, we could do all this. You're the tactician, though. You're the leader. I wouldn't venture to say.
All right.
We could burn down the station first. Fuck them.
No, we need that.
Yeah, that's very important to us. I'd consider it if we had a backup plan. Right now, we don't have a backup plan.
I think if we get some of her men or people, or we could get information on the guns.
Absolutely.
You can break it out of them. Right?
Oh,
Mori
yeah.
is really good at breaking things out of people and breaking people.
Oh, yeah. They don't stand a hell of any chance. But we should start making moves then if they're already out making house calls like they did just now.
Okay. So what's the first move?
Get some reinforcements for the radio station, I think, and have the best people on guard here at all times.
Okay. All right. So you go
My
around
plan.
gathering up some people, putting a team together to send out. Are you sending them out immediately?
I think we should ride with him and then split off. You know, like make sure everything's all settled I want to see the radio station for myself. And I'm sure Sedona wants to give some sort of a pep talk. Because that feels like a Sedona thing.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. And I think we go from there.
All right. So the 4 of you gather up. Liv, you put the team together, and get ready to head out to the radio station. Anything anyone else wants to do before you go, other than gear up?
I think there's some chaos on the way, Maury. A lot of chaos. So much chaos, it will be fun. The chaos is called Delicious. And Delicious sent us so many new friends to play with. Thanks for the subs.
Oh, mechanics question. Did we
Sure.
gain any barter from that last adventure?
We did, but we got it in the last adventure. Because mine was
okay.
at 10, so... I don't know if you wrote it down last time.
Okay.
I think you got 2 from the radio station. Let me look. Yeah,
Perfect.
so you should have had 2 more from last time.
All right.
And the chaos increases as we hit the second chaos goal, sub-goal. And because the chat is actually literally asking for chaos, if you want to throw in a couple of maelstroms for those sub-goals as events, I'm perfectly happy with that, Savvy.
That sounds great to me. All right. So, you all get ready, load up, set out. You make it to the radio station with very little. Let's see. You have 2 of them now. All right. You make it to the radio station with very, very little problem. Simple drive. It's only a few miles north of you. You unload your team, start to give out orders. When all around you, switch it up a little bit. All around you, all at the same time, all 4 of you start to feel what feels like the ground shaking underneath your feet. And you see kind of this like greenish, like black smoke start to move slowly at first, kind of out of the cracks in the earth underneath you, and some of them start to open up, and this horrible sort of pungent, thick smoke kind of hits all of you all at once, and you all start to feel extremely dizzy, and your vision sort of in front of you starts to go weird and wavy, and you're having a hard time keeping your balance. And all 4 of you at the same time in your heads hear a voice. It is a sort of a quiet young woman's voice, and just very briefly, all of you in your head hear her say, "I know you. I can see you. I can show you what you want." I'm gonna have everybody roll. You can choose. You can try to fight whatever this thing is in your head, and you can roll to do something under fire, or you can lean into it and try to see what it is, and you can roll to open your brain.
Fucking lean
One of
into
those is
it,
cool.
like no question.
One of them is weird.
I make a new friend.
I see 3 full successes. Marlo, Liv, Mercury, and Moriai a partial success. So, Moriai and Liv, you try to push against this thing that is talking to you in your head. Mercury and Sedona, you lean into it and try to see what it's all about. I cannot imagine that going any other way. Mercury and Sedona, let's see. Lean into it. Let's get Liv and Moriai first. So, Liv, with a full success, you hear this voice speak to you, and you start to see these images sort of appear, almost like a mirage kind of appearing in the smoke in front of you. And you see, just very briefly, yourself, just very clearly, sitting in this huge chair, almost like a throne, in this like opulent room, surrounded by all of these valuable, expensive things, but things that you would find very valuable, so equipment and guns and all of these things like that. And you hear the voice in your head again, just very briefly go, "You can have all of it."
Absolutely fucking not. Absolutely fucking not. Get out of my head. Jeez, I hate this poison bullshit.
And as you
And
say,
she's
"Get out of
kind
my
like,
head,"
yelling to herself.
yeah, so you all sort of off in the distance somewhere kind of hear Liv yelling. And then in front of you, you see the vision start to kind of melt away and fade away as you kind of push against whatever this thing is. And she says, "Okay, your loss." And you feel her kind of pull back, and your vision starts to go back to normal. Moriai, you hear her in your head again, but it's kind of like a muffled in a way, like you're having a hard time hearing the voice, but you do see this vision again sort of come up in front of you like a mirage of yourself, just very slowly walking kind of down the rows of this massive armory. Huge room with these organized shelves in the middle and mannequins sort of all around wearing different equipment, and every weapon you could ever think of just sort of up on the walls. And then you just hear very quickly, "You can have all of them. Do you want them, Moriai?"
The weapon's not important. The fight is. And whoosh, she starts swinging like, okay, I know this is messing with my head. And so he's trying to cut what he thinks is an illusion.
Okay, yeah, you start to swing and kind of cut through it. And it takes a moment, but it does start to fade away. And then you hear just one more time as your vision comes back, "I can see you now. I'll be watching." And everything goes back to normal.
Samurai eyes.
Sedona, you lean into this, and this vision sort of fully overtakes you, and rather than what the others saw, which was kind of just from a distance, you sort of find yourself in a completely different spot. You look down, and you're wearing these just like gorgeous sort of silver lined vestments, and you're standing on a balcony sort of looking down and out into the wasteland, and there is just this massive crowd of people in front of you, and you can sort of feel yourself up to this point like you have been talking or giving a sermon from up here, and you stop, and the people in front of you start to cheer and clap and sort of raise their hands up towards you, and then the sound starts to fade, and you hear that voice again saying, "You can have them, all of them. What do you think, Sedona? Do you want to be friends?"
You are showing me my future, aren't you? This is where I will be. I know it. What does your friendship
I knew you
entail?
believed. Come to the pinnacle. Talk to the prophet. But you have to be nice to Prosperity. She keeps us safe.
I don't know who you are, and I don't know what you are. But you are not the gods, and you are not giving me a vision of the future. You are a trickster. You are Satan himself. I see you.
I see you too. And the vision in front of you very quickly starts to fade away. Mercury. Last but certainly not least, you see in front of you everything start to shift and change, and you find yourself sitting in a room, a beautiful room, sort of large, in the center of this huge canopy bed. You look to the side, and on the floor you see Jeremy sort of sleeping in his own little cushioned bed, and you look around the room, and the walls are just lined with shelves, just top to bottom, containing all sorts of things, trinkets and shiny things, and sort of on the other end of the room from you, in a display case with a light in the top sort of shining down on it, is preserved Silver's head still in its helmet. And you hear the voice again. Hi, Mercury.
Hi.
You could have all of them. Do you want to be friends?
I think some of them you took from me. That's mine. I point at the head.
Mm-hmm.
But we can play together if you want. Come here.
If you come to the pinnacle, you can have all
Are
of
you
these
with
shiny
the-
things.
Are you with the lady with the nice pearls? Or are
Prosperity?
you the lady with the pearls?
No, she's my friend. She takes care of us.
Liv takes care of us.
We could all be friends together. And you could have all of the shiny things.
I've seen the blonde man floating in a pool of acid before he was taken away by the wind. And I've seen the red-haired old woman burnt in a room locked with so much fuel. Entirely too much for that tiny room. All of them were friends of Pinnacle, of Prosperity. I don't want that to happen to my friends.
Those were her friends, not mine.
Pinky promise?
Pinky promise.
Okay. I'll see you soon. Oh,
You say that.
and if you lie to me or to my friends, you will regret it.
If you say so. And
Bye.
the voice starts to fade, and you say bye, and your vision goes back to normal. You look around and you see each other all standing there, and sort of in front of the radio station, the rest of the crew looking at you with terrified looks on their faces, trying to parse what just happened.
Immediately walk over to Moriai. Are you okay? Someone was in your brain. Someone, not me.
I'm alright.
Good. We'll talk about this later. Is everyone else fine?
Anybody else get like jimmied around?
It was a deceiver.
Something was taught. All right.
It was a deceiver. I
hated
swear,
that.
it was no one good. I guarantee this is a trick. This is a trick by someone evil sent by the deceiver himself.
They might just be lonely. Deceivers can be lonely too.
They have their deceit as a friend. That's the only friend they can have. They push all others away. They get them killed. Mercury, you have to understand. Whoever that was, That was not a friend.
Not right now, no. But neither were you or Liv or Moriai.
That is true.
And we're all really good friends now.
All right. So as you grapple with that information, we are going to go ahead and take a quick break and refresh ourselves. We will leave you with that for a few minutes. Hang out. We'll be back shortly to see what happens next. Stick around. Hello, everybody. We are back. Thank you so much for hanging out with us while we took a quick break. While we were away, we did hit our retweet goal, so I have rolled a d4 to give a success to one of our lovely players. So that one's going to go to Marlo. So we have a success for you to hang on to.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody. If we can hit the next one, we'll get a failure that I'll give to somebody. So if we could try to get 10 more, that would be awesome. All right, so we are gonna pick back up where we left off. So you all have just been the victims of a very large, potentially dangerous surge of the psychic maelstrom or the poisons. And so you're all sort of outside the radio station, still reeling a little bit from that. The rest of the crew sort of standing up by the doors, kind of backing off a little bit, trying to figure out what is going on with you, why Liv was yelling at herself, why Moriai was wildly swinging a sword in their general direction, and who Sedona and Mercury were talking to. What would you like to do?
So we're
Keep moving.
are we now at the station, the radio station? at this
Yeah,
point?
so you're there. You've got a group collected that you're going to sort of leave here to keep guard. How do you want to deal with them, or place them, or pep talk them?
Well, since they're really concerned at this point, instead of like, really prepping herself, she's gonna turn and look at them and realize like that they're freaking out because something obviously happened and they didn't know what it was. But so she turns and looks at them. Sometimes, family, the deceiver, it comes for you and it tells you something, and you have to discern for yourself what the truth is. And they can be tricky. They're not called the deceiver for nothing. And you see, family, so many of my speeches have to do with greed. We talk about greed, about how the gods cleansed this earth with nuclear fire against our very forefathers. You see, they were greedy. They took more than they should. And they burned this earth to the ground, family. Their greed, their voracity, if you will, is what led to their demise, is the reason the gods burned this planet. And we have another greedy person. This person who came to our very gates. She seeks to destroy us. She's all prim and proper, but underneath she's a snake. She is a deceiver, family. And we must hold this place because this is what she wants. This is the greed. This is ours. So stand tall, family, for you do the work of the gods themselves. And Sedona, like, she's gesticulating and she puts her hands back down and nods to them all and turns back to her friends. This is gonna be bad. I can feel it in my bones.
Do the gods
Yeah, well,
help?
as long as
I'm getting no word from them on this, and it concerns me. I don't know. I hate to say it, but I don't. But sometimes, it's true belief that gets us through. Faith, if you will. And these men need that.
Well, as long as right now the gods are willing it that they answer to me, I have no problem with that. But right now, I need I don't know, tell the gods to tell them. Yeah, fuck it. I'm the leader. What am I doing? Hey, you heard the lady. This is some, I don't know, the holy mission, whatever. Just your ass is grass if this place ain't still standing when I come back. All right.
You see them all sort of start to scramble and kind of talk amongst themselves. And whoever you have sort of left in charge starts giving out orders and sort of pointing them different directions. And they seem, for now, to be fine. See what happens in the future. All right, so you get them all set up. And now the four of you are going to head out where?
Are there, like, I don't know, points in the waste that people like scavenge for? Like, basically the only thing that I have in mind is just looking for, I don't know, weaponry, ammunition, etc. Unless anybody else has anything they'd like to look for.
You said guns are important. We can go look for guns. Yes.
Yeah,
My
we really
friends
just need to
guns.
make
I'll
sure.
get them guns.
Yeah, I just need to make sure that the deceiver or prosperity, whoever comes knocking, we knock harder.
In my time wandering said wastes, what's the chance that I would know of either a good place to scavenge guns or where a town might be that would have this hotel on it?
Yeah, you can. There's a couple of different ways to go about this. So since you guys are wanting to go out and look for specific, we'll call this working a gig, which normally would give you barter or equipment or something like that. So we're going to say specifically you guys are looking for weapons. There's two ways you can go about this. Essentially, you can work with the traders that you know, or you can go yourselves. You can go to another hold and either use barter or trade some service or something like that. Essentially do a job for somebody, usually a sort of a scavenging job, or going out and killing something that's getting too close to the hold and putting it in danger. Or you can go out as the chopper gangs drive by outside. You can go out and scavenge for it yourself. That's up to you. Either way, it would be fairly easy for you to find a place where you can do that. There's a lot of sort of landmarks out in the wastes and things that have been left behind. So it's just a matter of if you want to go after it yourselves or if you want to buy them.
I kind of feel like this is a go for it after go get them ourselves kind of group, but
I have something
That's
to
up to you.
barter, but I'm also okay with breaking more bones.
Why trade when you could just take?
It's rude.
I just don't want to take it from anybody that we're, okay with. But if we happen upon another chopper gang, oh well.
I meant take it from those who've passed. Plenty laying around.
Scavenging. It's okay with me. Do we know of any areas in the waste that are possibly a little bit dangerous, a little bit difficult to get to or through, where we can scavenge every now and then? I don't think we'd be the chopper gang. I don't think we'd go out and just raid random people that were just going on about their day. Because, you know, we're only... No, wait. No, I'm going to say it anyway. We're only small dicks, not big dicks. So... So I think that's more appropriate for us, or bartering. I'm happy to spend some monies.
Yeah, if you guys wanted to go and try to, rather than like taking them from a settlement or something like that, you have a couple of options. You do know the general direction that the leftovers of Silver's gang went off in, so you could potentially find them. They have guns and bikes and shiny things, or sort of out a few miles to the east of the assembly line. You know that there is sort of there's a patch of the wastes that is very close to where one of these old underground nuclear sites used to be. For you guys, that means it is just full of craters and these sort of vents. People don't really go that way, but if you can manage to get through it, there is sort of the remnants of like a military base that direction. People just don't tend to go there because they usually die on the way or lose their minds.
We haven't been at the base in a long time. Remember that weekend?
And I doubt.
My sweet? That was fun. When all the fire ants attacked. That was good. We could do that again.
Yeah, and I doubt any of our scouts are floating around in that area. That's the only reason I'm hesitant about traders. Traders with a D, because of the potential of traders with another T. You dig?
Arkia is still processing.
Moriai nods, but he doesn't.
Well, whatever the case, I think you're right. This sounds like the best way to go, but how do we get around all that, fire of the gods, as I like to call it?
You go through the fire.
Well, I mean, we've got a man of God, or a woman of God, rather, and we've got a Mercury. So, I think we're going to be pretty okay in that regard.
You understand that the poison is not the nuclear waste, right? Those are two separate terrible things, right?
Poison's
I just
not
assume
terrible.
Since one caused the other, they'd be related.
I mean, perhaps, but one will harm the body, one will harm the mind, and one of them might harm both. And I mean, I guess both could harm both. And she kind of starts like calculating in her head, thinking about this analogy.
You'll be fine.
Well, maybe
Miss
we
Ivona.
keep a wide berth.
Well, I can't mess up my moneymaker, you know.
We'll protect your moneymaker.
Thank you, Mercury.
The gods have chosen
Okay.
you. You said that yourself. You need to trust them that they chose the right person.
Right, they wouldn't use their fire on their chosen, would they? She kind of just smugly crosses her arms and...
See, now you're getting into a debate. This is a highly debatable topic.
Debate!
So, the will of the gods is not absolute. Do you think we have no free will? Because if we have free will to make choices, we can make choices outside of what the gods' plans are. But are they all God's plans? Or is there some multiverse in which I go and my face gets burned off? I don't want that to be this one. Thank you.
Fair enough. We avoid the fire of the gods, but hold it with the degree of reverence so as not to invoke it. Is that the idea?
That sounds just peachy.
That was a short
Phenomenal.
debate, but I still enjoyed it. Thank you.
There weren't even
So what
any
are we doing
knives.
now? You can have a knife, and she gives him one of hers out of the boot.
And he'll
many
like
knives.
toss it at the feet of Sedona, knowing Liv has like weapons.
I don't need that.
Take it anyway. It's a gift.
You're right. It would be rude to refuse a gift. Sedona bends down, picks it up, and inspects the edge for a moment before sliding it into
this-
her belt.
This is a battered Swiss Army knife. Mercury has tons of different knives, from kitchen to fillet knives to the little rainbow damascus ones to whatever she picks up really on the way. This is a classic Swiss Army knife, but it's seen some. So got blades getting a bit rusty. It is well cared for, but it's old. But you still get all the other uses out of it. So bottle opener, yay. But it's a knife
I
as
love
well.
it. So Sedona
So I
starts pulling
don't
at
know.
each separate one. Each separate one, just kind of like looking at each piece. Is so intrigued by what old world tech this is and what purpose it used to serve.
That's wonderful. So I don't know if she's inclined to ever actually use it as a knife, but just in case, you can put that in your inventory, and if you use it to stab someone, it will do 2 harm.
Hey, that's a lot for a little knife.
In my
It's well taken
skull,
care
it's
of.
it's the corkscrew she's got popped out, holding it like a fist knife,
Oh, that's nasty.
There you go. I gotta come
Alright,
up with a good
so-
one-liner for that to as I do it, just to something stupid to say.
Screw you.
Nice.
All right. So, how you want to sort of travel off to this dangerous area of the wastes, and through it to the abandoned base on the other side? How are you traveling? Are you guys all in one car?
I imagine that we did somewhat of a similar situation where we took like the what's it called, the truck for the guys to drop off reinforcements and everything, and we're in some sort of a like a Jeep or something.
All right. So, do you want to leave the truck with your team, and I'll go off in the Jeep, or? Okay.
I'm
All right. So you
cool
all.
with that. Sorry.
All right. It's your truck. They'll bring it back at some point.
They better.
So yeah, you all pile up into the Jeep and take off toward this this dangerous area of the wastes. Excuse me. You drive for a little while, and nothing too dangerous or exciting happens until you start to get close to this area. And you can see it off in the distance because, like, above you, the sky is clear, cloudless, sort of sun beating down. It is hot, but in front of you, you can just see kind of reaching up from the ground and then kind of turning up and kind of making its way into the sky are just these clouds, these like greenish gray clouds, and these like areas of black smoke that are kind of venting out of the ground. It looks like you are just driving right into a storm. What are you going to do to prepare for this? For remnants in a Jeep?
Absolutely fucking nothing. I'm here for it.
That sounds right.
Again, I've been wandering the waste, so just riding along.
I have my big boy to
Okay.
protect me if necessary.
Okay.
Prayers
Sedona,
to
anything?
the gods.
Sure. Liv, anything practical?
I mean, I don't know if it was ever outright said, but I imagine I'm driving, and I would just try to not drive directly into a rougher part of the storm.
That seems right. All right, and we are going to drive through this chaos. But we did have another surge from the chat, which I would love to happen right now as you're driving into these poisons. So, Liv, let's get exciting up in here. Oh my god. You drive very carefully at first, sort of into this sort of large storm cloud of essentially poison. And as soon as you get into it, you realize you can't see shit. You can't see for shit. And you are driving through, and you've probably been out here a couple of times. And so at the beginning, you can kind of navigate and try to like skirt around, but you realize as you're starting to skirt around that it is way worse in here than it was the last time you came this way. And so you sort of seal yourselves into the Jeep the best you can. When you start to feel underneath you the ground again, like it did earlier, start to rumble, and you hear this cracking sound as on the right side of the car, the passenger side of the car, this huge vent of like poisonous smoke goes off and just racks the car, sort of sending it flying to one side. I'm going to have you roll plus cool to keep control of your vehicle.
It's the old
Okay,
partial.
the old partial success. You flinch, hesitate, or stall. You have two options. Your choice. You can hammer down really hard and try to keep the car upright, but it is going to do some serious damage to that side of the car, and you're probably going to lose one of your doors. Or you can let it roll, hoping that it will right itself, but spreading the damage out over the entire car so you are all still safely inside. You're probably going to get hurt if the car rolls.
Yeah, she's gonna hammer down.
Okay. So yeah, you sort of pull the wheel hard to the right, trying to keep the car upright, and you all hear this sort of grinding, like metal on metal sound from that side of the car. So Liv is driving. Who's in the passenger seat and who's in the back?
Probably Sedona in the passenger seat and Moria and Mercury in the
Yeah.
back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say Sedona and Morii on the passenger side of the car. You hear this like grinding sound of metal, and Sedona next to you, you can see the passenger side door sort of shaking really violently, and then all at once it's just ripped off the car and sort of flung out into the waste. And so now you have this like dust and dirt and this like gas that is sort of like flying past you, getting into the car.
I am bracing myself as
Okay.
best I can, gripping onto the dashboard and Liv with the other hand, like gripping both.
Okay, so Olivia, you feel Sedona reach out and just sort of like death grip onto your arm. Mercury and Morii, are you doing anything from the back seat?
I think Moriai would like put one arm like a seatbelt across Mercury's like lap and hold on to the other door, and then with his hand that's next to the door he's on, he'd reach around and maybe grab the collar of Sedona's coat, so like she can't be blown out without him holding on to the vehicle.
Okay, yeah. So you reach out, holding on to Mercury with one arm, Sedona with the other, as you all feel yourselves being pitched forward and rocked. As the car rocks, you hear another sort of vent of steam go off, this time sort of catching the back bumper. It pitches the car forward. Liv, I'm going to have you roll again. Plus cool, please.
Mercury is giggling throughout this whole thing. She is having the best time.
That seems right.
It's another partial.
All right. Okay, that's another partial success. You can let the car go and skid a little bit and see where it winds up, and that's your guarantee that no one is going to go flying out of the car, but you don't know where you're going to end up. Or you can try again to hold the car sort of where it is. It is probably, you might lose Sedona out the passenger side door, and you're going to rely on Moriarty to keep her in the car.
I would I'd turn to Sedona and just say, "Oh, let's see about that faith," and I would skid.
You're going to skid and sort of let her go?
No.
Okay.
Wait, the one that
Oh,
keeps
the other
her
one.
in the car.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
I thought the skid kept her in.
you're
I'm
going
sorry.
to... No, you're good. So you're going to sort of loosen your grip on the wheel, and you feel the car sort of rock forward again, and it starts to list and kind of skid to the side, sort of going into a little bit of a spin. But Moriarty sort of hold tight to her, and the car kind of skids and then ends up sort of listing over one side, one wheel kind of in the air, rocking into this crater that is on the ground. And you can see in front of you places where the poison is starting to get thinner, like you're close to the other side, and you can see kind of glimpses of the buildings of the base over there. And you're teetering on the edge of this crater. What do you all do?
So who is on the side of the wheel that is hanging off? Like, who's the closest passenger?
That would be Liv. It's sort of that front driver's side wheel that is sort of listing, and so Mercury is also on that side of the car.
Okay.
That was fun.
Come to this side of the vehicle.
And I've still got an arm up here and an arm across, and yeah, I'll kind of like maybe try to scoop you up, Mercury, so you could like crawl across my back while I still have a hold of Sedona, and you can get out.
I think we need to come
side.
to the. We need to come out on our side, on Sedona and Mercury's side. So you have to come to us, I think.
Oh, I thought I was behind Sedona.
You are,
live
yeah.
around-
So,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
Moriarty is sitting right behind Sedona on the passenger side, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
So
you're
Mercury,
behind
you
Liv.
start
I'm trying
to-
to help you up and out
Okay.
the safe side.
I'll
All
climb
right,
her
so
over.
Mercury, you clamber over to the other side of the car. Liv, as everyone sort of moves to the other side to try to keep the car from rocking, you are still in the driver's seat, staring down the barrel of a crater.
I don't know how to do this. I mean, how easily can I inch over?
Without moving everything?
Well, I mean, like,
I'll say...
just because I mean, I imagine there's some sort of like center console thing.
Mm-hmm. If you move very carefully, you can do it. The problem being you're now not moving and sort of in the middle of this cloud of poison that is starting to seep its way into the car. So I'll say if you take your time, you can sort of climb over and onto the passenger side, and it might be enough to sort of right the car to the point where it's not in danger of falling long enough for everybody to sort of be able to get out or try to do something about it. If you take your time, the poison's probably going to go to everybody's heads a little bit. Or you can do it very quickly, but I'm going to have you roll.
I'm gonna do it quickly.
Okay. Then I would have you roll to do something under fire. That's
I'm
plus
gonna
cool.
use my crit.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah. So that would be as
I
if
don't
you
wanna
rolled
die.
a 12. Good use of not dying. So yeah, that would be a 10 plus. You do it. I think you all see Liv just sort of wait just for a second for the right moment when the car starts to kind of list back out of the crater a little bit, and then just vault over the center console and then kind of like into the back seat, like in the corner of the car, and the car kind of shakes a little bit and then kind of settles back and stops rocking for the moment. And this poison gas is starting to swirl around just a little bit and start to creep its way into the car. Are you all getting out?
I'm
Yeah.
out, but breathing absolutely normally.
Okay. So Mercury is out in the storm. The rest of you start to carefully clamber out, and you see the car, as soon as you leave it, start to, especially after Moriai gets out, I think, start to teeter, and its nose starts to dip a little further into the crater.
We should probably
think
try and
as-
pull
as-
it back.
I think as Moriai does this, Sedona's kind of frozen for a moment, and as it starts to teeter forward, she just like launches herself out of it.
Sedona comes flying out of the car.
And once she's out, it just starts to tip, and Moriai literally, like, slow-mo steps on the edge of the window and, like, leaps out, you know, across the expanse as the car just kind of goes around. And he's like,
All right.
he looks down.
Yeah, you guys all land. It hasn't quite fallen yet. I'll give you one moment to react. If the car teeters and Moriai, you kind of see it starting to go.
Do you want it saved? I mean, I'll try.
We kind of need it, yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. I think we would batten it
Jeez.
down as best as we could, the two of us.
All right.
Okay, the two of you grab onto the car. I don't. There's nothing for this. I guess you're going to aggro on the car.
Hell yeah.
So I'm gonna have one of you. If the two of you are doing this, I'm gonna say one of you roll plus hard, and then if the roll needs to be helped, it can be helped.
I have 3 in hard.
Ooh. Yeah, then you should do it.
Let's have it.
And boom. Second window. Go. Oh,
I trusted you.
Okay, that's a 5. Now, if you would like to help, you can roll. Anyone can, well, only one of you because they don't stack, can roll plus your history with Moriai. If you roll a 10 plus, he will get a +2, which will make it a 7, which will make it a partial success. Anything below that, you're not going to get it.
Okay.
I will try to do that.
Okay.
I'll give him a kiss.
nice. Bam! Power of love.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's a full success. So I add a +2 to that 5 to make it wow, you rolled 2 1s, didn't you, GB? Oh
yes,
no.
Yes, I do.
So yeah, you sort of hold on and you're trying and you're sort of like skidding across the ground, the car kind of pulling you into the crater, and you all see Mercury just kind of like skip over, just give him a little kiss, and love wins. And it is empowering, and you remember what you're doing and who you're doing it for, and you start to sort of pull the car back just enough so it is grounded, and it will sit. It will sit where it is.
Well done, Mom.
He spins.
Very
Oh.
proud of you.
Big hug.
Good job, big
Spins
guy.
her around.
Oh.
Yes. That was fun. Can we do that again?
Yeah, no, not for at least another hour.
Okay.
Oh,
But we should probably keep going because else the poisons will get to your head and then you'll go weird.
yeah, I wouldn't want that. So is it in a position where we could just like get in and drive again?
You can't. It will run. You have lost a door and most of the rear bumper, and you can kind of see in the back, sort of underneath, some like twisted metal and some like pieces sticking out from where it was hit. It'll run. It is not going to run as well as it did on the way here, but you can at least drive it out of here and not have to walk.
Okay.
All right, so you all climb back
yeah.
into the Jeep and take off. You head toward the edge of the storm. You sort of crest over this small hill, driving a little bit more slowly than you were before, but you make it out. You sort of break through this wall, and you all kind of blink as, again, the sun is just beating down on top of you. And you're out of the storm, and you can see about half a mile in the distance the buildings of this abandoned base. And you made it. Great job. All right, so you drive the rest of the way there, pulling up outside and all sort of taking a breath. What's the plan? So a couple of you, I
For
think we had said,
guns.
have been here a couple of times, so you can pull up sort of outside one of these buildings that you know will probably have some intact things in it.
I think at some point, Moriai and Mercury, when they were wandering across the waste, sort of stayed there for a little while. When it was, I'm assuming it was empty at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know what has happened since because that was years ago at this point. But she'll give them a quick sort of overview, as in there's some helpful information underneath a sleuth of incredibly not helpful non sequiturs, of that's where we saw a really nice full moon, and that was where the strange half-dead cat was dropped out of the sky by some bird, and that's where we found the old rum bottles that were still good. That was a funny night. But then there was a car in that one, in a garage. It was still working, I think. There were crates with... Oh, we did the grenade exploding! The grenade exploding, do you remember? So many grenades. Maybe there's still some left. We got bored after a while.
And literally, if there's like any kind of segue or cut to that, the car was still working, but I don't think either one of us really know how to drive. So in the end, we just walked away from it to wander again.
I think Mercury knows how to drive, but doesn't usually, because
Okay.
nobody lets her.
You said that cat was half dead. What kind of bird or whatever it was dropped it? Sedona is totally attached onto the useless crap and not paid any attention to the good stuff.
Well, It was half eaten. It had an eye hanging out of the socket, and then the bird came swooping down and picked and started eating it there. So I think it was just too heavy for it. It was like a raven or a crow, but much, much bigger, and it had a blood red beak. And I named him Bingy, but then he flew off again.
That's an omen.
After
That's an
he had
omen.
eaten the cat. I took the skull with me though. It's back home in my shack. I cleaned it a bit.
You're gonna have
Off
to
the
let me look
cat,
at that
not the
skull.
bird. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So for your purposes, since you've been in this building before, I'm gonna have either Mercury or Moriai roll to read a sitch, which is plus sharp, and then we can ask some of those questions and see how much information you can sort of get across about the actual like layout of the building.
I'm happy to roll that as it's one of my highlighted ones, but if you have pluses in that, feel free to do it.
I do not.
Not sharp, not sharp.
Just a vicious shaking of the head.
Damn.
Oops. I am entirely too engrossed in jumping from one grenade crater to the other, where we did that in a field behind one of the barracks.
Yeah. For
look at anything.
live in Sedona, for your purposes, based on like the stuff that she is saying, it's possible that Mercury's never actually been in this building and she just thinks she has.
That's also entirely valid.
That's about the level of information you're getting. It's good, fun stories though.
Yeah, great little anecdotes. You show us around and we'll gather what we can. I'm sure there's plenty to see. Sounds like it. Sounds like it's great.
All right. So you all grab your gear and start to head towards Mercury Moriai, a familiar enough building. On one end of the base, there is this sort of short, kind of very long, it's sort of all concrete building, no windows or anything like that, just this very long sort of rectangular cinder block and concrete building that has two large, like, interlocking metal doors on one side. As far as you know, that's where the guns should be. But yeah, looking around right now, you're pretty alone. So, but this is a big door. What do you want to do with it?
Break it. Oh, okay.
Moriai knocks on the door. Don't hear anything inside. It's a very thick metal door. You can't hear anything on the other side. Do you want to try to bust it open? Let's have it. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
somebody roll to go aggro on the door.
We'll try it again if nobody minds.
You still have crits as well, by the way.
Oh, aha! After the near car debacle, I will just spend one of those crits.
That sounds good. Don't forget to be marking XP for using your highlighted stats. I'm going to count it even if you use a crit to auto-succeed. You guys can go ahead and mark those too, because you technically, in the technical sense, made the roll. You just magicked yourself rolling very good. All right. So, Moriai, what do? Kick the door down?
No, he basically he puts his sword in and then cranks it enough to get like his hands in, and then he just like Chewbacca is it apart.
I was gonna say Captain America in the elevator because I just watched Winter Soldier yesterday. You sort of see him kind of wedge the sword in, and then just barehanded kind of slowly push the two doors open, and then finally he kind of extends his arms out, locks his elbows, and the doors kind of click into place. And you can see into this room. There are some shelves in here. There are some racks on the walls. Some of it has been sort of knocked over, kind of rustled around, as some of the things that are laying on the floor are not in super good condition. But there is a lot of stuff in here. Different weapons, there are some different armor pieces, that kind of thing. And then off to one side, there is sort of a stack of crates kind of off in the corner. What are you looking for? What would you like? Anybody looking for anything specific?
I'm looking for
I
knives.
personally am.
Knives.
Always. Sorry, Liv. What were
Okay.
yours are definitely more helpful.
As many guns that are in like favorable condition, and just all the ammo she could find, really.
Okay. Yeah, you guys can find pretty much a stash of it's pretty much a stash of weapons. You can sort of load as much of this as you can into the Jeep. Liv, I'll say you find enough to be able to get rid of that that want on your hold. So if you were wanting for weapons before, no longer. One might even say you have a surplus of weapons moving forward currently, if they are taken care of. If you take care of your boys, they will last a long time. Mercury, you start to I promise. Mercury, you start to look for some knives, and you find this one rack sort of on the back wall that has all of these sort of different shapes and sizes of knives in different sheaths. There are also just these kind of cases that are full of just these very small, like thin dagger type knives. And then up on the wall, there are sort of larger ones. And then towards the top, there are two machetes that are sheathed and sort of hanging up there, which are really just really big knives when you think about it.
I want them. I want them. I want them all.
Okay.
She will start literally trying to gather them all. You hear clinking and clanking as half of them fall back on the ground. Do we have a bag?
I'm sure there's a duffel bag in the Jeep.
Yeah,
or any-
Liv would have brought like duffel bags and stuff to haul stuff in.
Stuffing one of them full of knives.
Yeah, she just
Stuff one of
tosses
them
your bag
full
and
of
then
knives.
immediately starts getting stuffed with knives.
And do you want the
Alright,
machetes
yep,
as well?
knives are good.
I'm taking the machetes right for me, and then all the other knives, because basically what I have is the knives that are endless. So this is for flavor, but
Infinite
the
knives.
machetes I think I want.
I love it. Okay, so I'm gonna have, we'll get to the other two of you in a second too, but Liv and Mercury, because you have excess stuff, you can both take a barter. And then Mercury, you have two machetes, which I will put this in the chat as well, but the tags for those are 3 harm, hand, messy.
Nice.
Fair.
I like it when it's messy.
That
That is literally the tag on my brutal sword.
is what machetes do. Let's see, that's Liv, Mercury, let's Moriai. Anything you're looking for? I do also have a list of the common weapons that you guys would have access to.
He'll head for the crates that were stacked up in the far corner, just to kind of. He's got that thing going on where he's got that sort of attached to his weapons thing. So new stuff is really, man, that's something somebody else will have until I kill them. And so yeah, he'll go to crates and try to check the crates.
Okay. Yeah, you start popping the crates open. You find a couple of things. There are there are a couple of crates that you sort of pry the top off of, and you find 2 of these. I will send you the tags for it as well, 1 in each crate. These are mortars. They're light mortars. But for your money, and I'll put this in the chat for you, they do 7 harm.
Okay.
They're far, reload, area, messy,
Okay.
and braced. And I put that there in the chat for you as well. So you do have to sort of brace them down, and they fire at a long range. There are 2 of them with 2 shells.
Right.
So 2 shots, essentially. And then you also find, sort of fallen down a little bit on the side, kind of pressed up against the last crate and the wall, this large, sort of dirty and dusty but intact silver case. And it's huge. It's probably like a couple of feet wide and a few feet long. You pull it out and sort of unlock it, pop it open, and inside is a grenade tube. And you pop open the crate that was next to it, and you find 4 grenades.
Nice.
Which go to the grenade tube. Also very dangerous, 4 harm. Messy. Most of these have the messy tag. I'll put that in chat for you as well. So a grenade tube, essentially 4 shots with it.
Live. Big bada boom. And he holds up one of the tubes above his head.
Oh, that's what I like to see. Oh, you come messing with the assembly line, you're gonna get bada boomed. I like this. Good find, big guy.
And yeah, he'll just grab the crates and start hauling towards the Jeep.
All right, and there's some other miscellaneous things in here, so you can have a barter as well. Sedona, what are you doing in this room full of weapons?
So I imagine you just see this shot from behind of Sedona walking. She's got like this long skirt on in this like sort of rusty gray color, and she's walking and with her arms behind her back humming. And as she's humming and walking with this stride, she walks past something, and then you see it's like a shot from behind a shelf or something, and then you see her back up, and she stops humming, and she looks, and down here, if it's okay with you, I'm imagining that her weapon would be some kind of like 38 special, like a snub nose, like a revolver with a like a mother of pearl type handle. I feel like that's something that she would carry because it's so fancy, and it's like, this is me. But of course,
yeah, no, I love that. I think you sort of find it tucked back in a shelf somewhere in this. It's old and it's battered and it's sort of fallen to one side, but in this this finished wooden case. And something about it, just like, it's very different from everything else in the room, so it very much like speaks to you. But yeah, you pop it open and have a little I'll say a 38 revolver that's on here.
Yeah.
With a nice handle, which will do 2 harm for you.
yeah.
Yeah, you can sort of like pull it out of the case and take it along with you. You can also have a barter for miscellaneous things. All right. Anything else anyone is looking for that is specific? Did everyone get what they wanted? Or something close to it? All right. Okay, so you guys put everything in the bags. Moriah, you're sort of packing up the truck. As we're getting to the end, I want to end on a scene that you guys requested, since you have a few minutes here as you're sort of loading everything up. Mercury, you wanted to have a conversation with Moriah about what happened earlier?
I think because this is a place we've been to before, it would be appropriate to have a little bit of a stroll around and dive into old memories and use that as there's a little bit of a calm down period where she's still worried about someone else poking around in a brain that she considers to be hers.
Nice.
The voice that you heard earlier, that we all heard earlier, is it still there?
Chased it away.
Good. I don't like it when someone does that to you.
He gets a little choked up on the inside of the mask. Like, okay.
It's so messy in there. So broken. What did it say?
Tried to offer me things.
Me too. Good things. Nice things. Things I wanted.
I
Did
have
you
all
take
I need.
any of the things?
Yeah, no. I have all I need. And he like puts his forehead to yours.
No. That's very sweet of you. And she leans in as well. I'm a little bit worried about the voice, though. Maybe it was
Is it
just
like-
the poison. Maybe it was her.
And through the slits of you could see the confusion in his eyes. Her?
The woman. Prosperity.
She has powers like yours?
I don't know. But she was so confident. She had the... She had the mind of someone who's been at the very bottom and then crawled out like you did. But she doesn't leave blood and bodies in her wake. She hides them better. That's dangerous. But they're still there. I can smell them. I don't want you or them or me to become that body in someone else's wake. But I still admire her a little bit.
He's nodding, but at that point he doesn't get it.
It's
just
all right.
not a
And she starts...
concept.
Yeah. She strokes his face and knows it's something that gets completely above him. But I have you still, yes?
Always.
You have
We'll
me.
take her head. Viper. She's a viper. I called it. Should have never let her go.
Maybe. I do want to go see her hotel. It has chocolate. Are you happy with the grenades?
We can take down the hotel.
The chocolate, though.
And he is puzzled, like, how am I going to get the chocolate from an exploding hotel?
And they're wandering back slowly. And she does always stroke his head, stroke his face, and sort of fingers in his hair. which is partly I'm saying she is using the deep brain scan, but it's more as a bonding thing to see that
Okay.
she's done it so often at this point. It's more of a making sure everything's still where she left it, making sure all the memories that are so very, very scattered are still in their little cages, and nobody's let them loose to manipulate him from within, making sure that he can still contain them with her help.
Okay. Yeah, let's have you go ahead and roll.
All right.
Can I roll to assist?
Sure. I think because you know that she does this. To help is gonna be plus whatever your history is with Mercury.
Oh, cool. And that is where'd history go? Okay, +1. All right. And how do you just roll a blank like that? Without
You should be able
stat?
to roll history from your sheet. So on that
okay.
that right hand side,
Yeah.
there should be a little dice button that will let you roll it.
Roll your HX with a person.
Okay. HX notes. Maybe I got the sheet crunched up a little too much. Oh, I never added you guys as individuals. I put you all down in the notes. Okay. All right. Here, sorry. We'll do this real quick. And
No, you're
go.
all good.
And there's the second sheet I always forget about. Yeah! Woo!
Hey! All right, that's a full success. So we'll add +2 to what Mercury rolled, giving you a partial success.
Which is good, because else you would have taken harm.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep.
That would have been rough. So yeah, you have one hold. I'll say if you want to spend that specifically to just say because you are very familiar with his mind and how it works, to like check in, make sure everything is still in its place and where it should be. Yeah, you prod around a little bit in Moriai's mind, and it seems that everything is in place. Everything is where you all left it, but you do feel just very briefly, and you can't really tell where it is, but it feels like somewhere off in the corner of his mind there is something that wasn't there before.
A little shadow.
Hmm.
A little
That's awesome.
shadow is there. She just mutters, but doesn't continue as they return to the other two.
Okay, so the two of you return to Liv and Sedona. You get the rest of your gear sort of loaded up, and you hop back in the Jeep and take off back toward the assembly line. And we're going to leave it there for today. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us today. That was quite the adventure that we have had so far. A lot happened today.
And thank you for that raid there at the end as well, Raven.
Oh,
Much
yes,
appreciated.
thank you.
We were just so deep in the RP. And for the gifted sub. And it's not going to go to waste because we are moving over into Eclipse after this.
Excellent. All right, so very briefly, let us hit the end of our session. If you will all bring up your sheets so we can look at your history. I'm going to go around real quick. Tell me who knows your character better than they used to after today. Let's start with Sedona. I'm looking at you. Who knows Sedona better after today?
Well, I don't know if everyone here has seen Sedona give a sermon or anything like that. But I think the person who probably would have avoided doing that at all costs would be Liv. So I'm gonna have to say Liv. I would just imagine like she would want nothing to do with that at all and would not want to be around for those. And so now she's seen one.
Sober.
Sober. Yeah.
Okay. Liv, are you amenable to this?
Very.
All right. So you can add a +1 to your history with Sedona. And then we'll go to you. Who knows Liv better?
I think thus far in these characters' histories, Liv is always kind of like known that they're weird and attuned to the poison, never really taken it seriously. But I think when the chips were down with Prosperity earlier, she put a lot of faith into Mercury, and they kind of had like a moment where they worked together using, Mercury used her powers, gave information, and Liv kind of better understood it a little bit more. So definitely Mercury.
Okay. So Mercury, you can add +1 to your history with Liv.
That takes me to 4. So I think that is...
Yes, you'll roll over. So yes, you mark an experience and you reset your history with Liv to 1.
To 1. Okay, that I'm leveled up as well, in addition to that.
Oh, wonderful. We can get an advancement for you for next time. Okay, then Mercury. Who knows Mercury better than before?
I think Sedona, actually, because while we had that connection of, it feels like it was something that was still for the whole, that was still less about her as a person and more something about the group. Whereas the chat with Sedona about the gods and about the hotel, and Sedona actually going with the weird stuff Mercury was talking about and wanting to understand her more, that wanting to understand her counts and for a little bit more in my book. So Sedona.
Okay. Yeah, so Sedona, you'll mark +1 to your history with Mercury. All right, that's 1, 2, 3. Moriai. Who knows Moriai better now?
Muted. You're muted, love.
Appreciate it. Thank you. I was initially going to say Liv, because I tried to save his car, like a piece of property that normally, he would have just watched the thing go over the edge and waited for the explosions as it bounced off rocks going down the side, not thinking, oh, now we have to walk. But I think maybe it's Sedona, because he reached out to save her when the door blew off and such, like, okay, for some reason we can't lose her, with and yeah, so he made sure Mercury was safe, and then was like, good. And so maybe that sort of protector thing, seeing it extended beyond just Mercury a smidge, was probably a reason to know a little better. So
Sorry, guys, there's a mosquito flying around me, but I am here for that.
Oh, no.
all right, and then
All right. All right, so Sedona, you can add +1 to your history with Moriai. And that, my friends, is it for the day. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining us again today for the second episode of Diesel Punks. I hope you had as much fun as I did, because I think this rules. a couple of things that I will remind you of very quickly. Thanks for hanging out with us live. If you are not with us live, if you are on YouTube, we appreciate you so much as well. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button while you're there. You just spent 3 hours with us. Go on, press it. And then also in the comments of the video, leave us some comments about your favorite thing that happened this session. We love to hear about it, things you love about the game, or things you want to see more of. We love that too. But yeah, there is that YouTube. You can also join us on Discord. That is where you can find all kinds of wonderful stuff about the current games that are going on right now, as well as lots of discussions, all kinds of things, books and movies and games, lots and lots of games. It's also where you can sign up for games that will be happening during EncounterCon. That is a little thing we're going to be doing. That is going to be August 29th and 30th. There's going to be tons of games happening, both streamed and offline. So go to the Discord, sign up for those. It's going to be really awesome. Let's see. And then stick around right after this, as soon as we all say goodbye, for a new episode at 6 p.m. Eastern Time of Eclipse, the Urban Shadows show. If you like Powered by the Apocalypse, boy, this is the day to be here, because it's another one, and I think you'll like it at least as much as you like this one. So I'm going to let these wonderful people around me one more time say goodbye and tell you who they are and where you can find them when they're not here doing this with me. Like always, I'll start with Rob and go around. Rob, where are you?
I don't know, man. I just woke up here one day and then they put me on camera. Hi, I'm Rob, and you can find me on most places on the internet, like Twitter, at BonusStageRob, and at Twitch, at twitch.tv/bonus_stage_Rob. I play games and just heck around on my stream. But I also do TTRPG stuff like this on channels like Runaway Robot or Savage Channel Game Nights. I'm all over the place, so chances are you'll see me around. So, thanks.
All right, who am I looking at? Marlo. Marlo, where are you?
Yeah, I'm here, right now, in the present time and space. I'm not a time traveler. I'm not the doctor. I'm here. What? So you can find me. My Twitter handle is the same as above. I am doing lots of things. The first and foremost thing I always like to mention is I have a podcast called Sins of the Father. 5e. I play a kid named Yavalia. She is a bard, and she is spunky. And then I am on Wednesday nights, 6 p.m. Central. I am over on D Live. We actually have a TTRPG stream over on D Live. What? Yeah, I know. That's on D Live/Transient. And we are playing Cult, Divinity Lost. Love that game. Love that system. So, and then Saturdays, every other Saturday, I'm over on Featherfall, playing another 5e game, The Gateway Wars, and I'm also here sometimes on this show, so that's cool. Watch more of that, and yeah, follow me on Twitter to see more cool stuff. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Marlo. GB, where are you?
Emotionally, well, fighting those inner demons. But on the internets, you can find Graybeard Tavern, no S in the middle anymore. That'll have my schedule. But next thing coming up, I'll be over on G Game Nights here at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Savvy, playing our wonderful. I was going to say Shadowrunners, but operatives or hooligans. We're cyber hooligans. That's what the deal is, and we have a good time with that. Other than that, you can catch me on Indoor Adventures channel. back here, and G Game Night's my own channel on Sunday mornings, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We just started Deep Sky Derelicts, so come on over, become a character, and be killed in horrible ways by space monsters. That's it for me.
All right, and I'll say my thing real quick. I'm gonna let Lydia take us out today. But I am Savvy at Savvy Seaworth on Twitter. When I'm not here, you can find me most of the time over on Game Nights, as Game with 2 Gs and Nights with a K. I'll be there 2 hours from now playing the Sprawl with GV and some other wonderful friends. And yeah, being the biggest cyber hooligan and punching a lot of stuff. But yeah, you can find me over there most days. I play D&D. I also run Monster of the Week on that channel. So if you like this kind of thing, come hang out with us on Sundays. Rob's there, GB's there, and it is a roaring good time. But yeah, my schedule is pinned to my Twitter, and I have one other very exciting new thing coming up. But I'm gonna let Lydia tell you about it.
Oh, that's very sweet. Because yeah, I nabbed a Sally. I decided to steal her for my own game, which I'm going to run start Monday, 17th, 7 p.m. EDT over on Cold Press. Cold Press has put out the Deep Magic supplement. I say supplement as if it's like a tiny book. It is a bloody tome, but it's amazing. It has all the magics you could ever want and wish for, all the new magic subclasses, and yeah, with Savvy and Colonomicon and Noranigma and Draco, we're going to give you a lesson in Deep Magic for the next 16 weeks. So follow them, have a look. You'll also find me there on Tuesdays for a GM chat show, GM advice that usually ends in us telling you to do some arson. I don't know, it's a thing. But that is also good fun at 8 p.m. EDT, and then you'll find me here most days as a half-hour's hermit on the Discord of Encounter Roleplay, or in games, or behind the scenes, because I live here. And on Sunday, we are going to have a special one-shot, because there is a bloody amazing game that we found on Kickstarter and is so close to being funded. There's roughly a week left. We're doing a one-shot of that, Accent Punk, Sunday 7 p.m. EDT as well, right here on Encounter Roleplay. And I'll be going for some hip-hop inspired cyberpunk with a friend of the channel. It's GM'd by Mitch, who you may know from Cult Shenanigans here on Wednesdays, Penny for a Tale, and you should watch that because it's gonna be fun. And that's all I want to say on that, because Mitch quite honestly terrifies me and I don't know what he has in store for us, but we'll find out together. We are also going to end with that particular trailer because Charlie, our channel goddess, has made a bloody awesome trailer for Accent Punks, so we're going to leave you with that one, and then don't go anywhere because right after we are moving over into Eclipse. Savvy mentioned it before, our Urban Shadows campaign. So hope you had fun. Thank you very much for playing and for watching and for donating and for rating and for tweeting, and we'll see you here again next week.